Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 11th of August. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's have a look at how far away we are from actually retesting this high. It's not far. I've got this high here at about 78.19. Currently, we are only 30 handles below that, and we got within about 20 handles or 22 handles yesterday. I'm wondering about a retest of the high. Doesn't need to do it, but what I was saying on Friday morning was the three paths were ABC, i.e. Formable flag, fail into a lower low here, and then probably retest the high. Retest the high directly, form a double top, and breakdown. That would be with a target in about the 76.25 area, I think, or continue higher. So we still have all three of those options. Yesterday morning, we had a weak 6-minute sell signal fix on the ES chart and on the NQ chart. Neither of those has made the possible near miss target yet, and really, there was little upside action, but really not a great deal has changed. In terms of RTY, nice move up. We've got pretty close to the high. YM has been lagging the others badly, but at least hasn't made new lows. But this is the extent of the recent rally, so it's not looking like it's going to make a retest of the high at the moment, or at least it's really not at all close to it. DAX got pretty close to the possible near miss target, and I'm thinking about calling that. In terms of ESTX, no current signal, pretty close to the highs. Nikkei is on the verge of invalidating this head and shoulders on the futures. It's slightly less close to that on the RTH chart, I think, but it's very, very close. This is one of the three patterns that I was writing about last week, and if this one fails, well, it may make it more likely the other two will fail as well. All right, great. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. In terms of SO, we saw a sharp retracement yesterday. This is really not close to failing. We haven't made it back up to the 50 DMA. Looks like we might be back testing the daily middle band as support, and obviously that's bullish if it managed to hold that as support. But at the moment, that's not looking great, and it's not close to failing. In terms of ES, wondering about a retest of the high. That could set up a little negative divergence on the RSI 5 chart, but nothing particularly exciting. On the daily chart here, again, a little negative divergence if we see a retest of this high. We could set up a pretty nice looking hourly RSI 14 divergence, which could look pretty nice. So I am wondering whether this will be a short-term double top if we do go back and retest the all-time high. Nothing to see really on the 15-minute chart. Looking at the Qs, holding above the 50 DMA at the moment. That is opening up potentially the possibility of retesting the last high at 728.54, but potentially failing the diamond top and heading back up into a retest of the high here. It's not particularly encouraging that SO is still struggling though, so we're not seeing a lot of sign that that's likely to be imminent. In terms of the hourly chart, again, if we retest the short-term high at 728.54, we can get a pretty nice looking possible hourly RSI 14 sell signal brewing. Nothing to see on the 15-minute chart. Looking at Dire has been consolidating since we basically made it up to this trend line here last week. That is a pretty nice. That was that was my main target for if it would go higher. So it's actually already hit that, and I'm wondering about a possible high here. And it's interesting that Dire is now underperforming the others. In terms of the hourly chart, we went slightly too low yesterday. We're not going to get an hourly RSI 14 sell signal on this. I tend to just rule those out when we get below the 50 level, which is a rule I've been using for a long time. We do have an RSI 14 buy signal fixed here on the 15-minute chart, and that's not delivering a great deal so far. All right, looking at the bigger picture charts on IWM. Hang on a second. All right, IWM. We are consolidating, might see a retest of the high, could set up a pretty decent RSI 5 sell signal if we do see a retest of 303.06. Hourly chart, not going to see an hourly sell signal. 15-minute chart, nothing really to see on that either. Looking at DAX, we are basically at the highs and at a potential trend line here, which I'm watching with interest. In terms of Nikkei, we are pretty close. You can see I've drawn in the line here for where the head and shoulders would fail. That's on the retest of the on a break over the right shoulder high, and we are pretty close to that retest and break. So we will see how that goes, but this is the closest for those bear patterns to actually failing. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. All right, DX, we have a nice looking potential level bottom here. Not seeing much sign that it's going to break up. We have seen a bit more action on the other currencies. Possible level top here on USD. GBP USD, we got a 6-minute sell signal fixed, not doing a great deal of damage to the downside so far. 60-minute sell signal fixed on USD JPY, 60-minute buy signal fixed on USD CAD. Those are really contradictory signals, of course. Nothing on the Australian dollar, possible overall bear flag forming. And NZ, this looks like a bullish consolidation for at least a retest of this high and possibly a move. There's this IHS target in the 59.63 area. Overall, I'm seeing mixed signals here. ZB, we are pretty close to a retest of this low here. Now, as I've been mentioning, the overall setup here, the overall lean here is bearish on the bigger picture for bonds and bullish for bond yields. On ZN, pretty close to retest the low. This double bottom broke up with a target in the 109.28 area, but so far has not looked enthusiastic about proceeding further. In terms of coil, this is interesting. I'll talk about the daily charts in a minute, but we've got seeing a bit of a retrace here, no current negative divergence. We could still get some with a retest of this high, but at the moment, this just looks like a back test of broken resistance. In terms of CL, we are seeing a bit of a pullback here too. Again, no negative divergence on the hourly chart. HO, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. Hasn't quite made it up into the retest of this high. RBOB, no current negative divergence, but seeing a bit of a pullback as well. NG, not really on the same page, but we have a little level bottom here. And since I capped that earlier, this is trying to break up. If it is breaking up, then and it can get back over the monthly pivot, then I'd really be looking for a move up into this area here in about the 2.97 area. All right, great. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on oil. Okay, the interesting thing that's happening here is that oil is trying to break back over the daily middle band, and this tends to be a pretty significant level. You see a lot of gaps through, gap up through it there, gap down through it there. So, I mean, this is a significant support and resistance level, and in the event that this converts to support, then this actually becomes a pretty significant support level. Until then, it's a significant resistance level, which we are still testing. We did see a slight break over it yesterday. We've traded pretty much all of today over it as well, but at the moment, it's come back to it and is testing. This could fail today, and normally, when you see a break up that fails or a breakdown that fails, it tends to be the next day. On WTIC, we have the same situation. Slight break over yesterday, move away this morning, pull back to the daily middle band, so we are waiting to see. If we do see a breakup, then I'm wondering about this as an ABC. This would have a sort of a C target approximately in the 110 area. And on WTIC, I'm wondering about an ABC as well, and that would have a target in about the 100 area. We will see how that goes, but honestly, I'm quite liking it. We will see. So, but that means that rather depends on it holding today. But honestly, there's no good news on the war that I've heard recently. So, in fact, all the news has been pretty bad. So, this would be a pretty good time to break up. And here was where we were when Besant was talking about, talks were going well and there was going to be an agreement soon. And we actually fell $12 on that. We haven't made all of that back yet. And at the moment, it's plain that what he was saying there about an agreement being imminent wasn't true. So there's no particular reason to be at least under that level here at 86.74. All right, great. Let's have a look at heating oil quickly as well. Pretty close to a retest of the high. Gas oil. Nice move up, not close to a retest of the high yet, but proceeding nicely. We don't have any negative divergence on here. Heating oil, we do have a 60-minute RSI 14 sell signal fixed here. So that is the one with sell signal. It's the only one, but nonetheless, we shall see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at GC. Now, GC, we've got a big double bottom here, and that actually has started to break up with a target in the 48.35 to 49.25 range. We're still on the 60-minute sell signal, which has delivered absolutely nothing since it fixed down here. So we will see how that goes. But I'm liking the upside here. We've also got a double bottom that's broken up on SI with a target in the 71.25 to 72.50 range. We've got one that's broken up on Palladium with a target in the 15.72 to 16.10 range. Nothing on platinum so far, but we could see a reversal pattern form here. HG has retested this high on the spot chart, and I'm leaning towards that being a significant high. It's certainly a potential large double top. Right, let's have a look at the other commodities. KC, this looks like a bullish consolidation. It looks as though maybe breaking back up towards a retest of this high here in about the 356, 357 area. SB, we are consolidating after a strong move up. Weak 60-minute sell signal fixed. CC, I think this is a bit of a pullback before, in all probability, we go back up and retest this high here in about the 64. 95er, I think. 64.50 area, maybe. All right, let's have a look at lumber, where I think this is a bearish consolidation before it continues down. We do have a 60-minute buy signal fix. We haven't seen a break of the main support trend line on the bigger picture charts. On CT, holding above the weekly pivot so far. Wheat, possible breakup from a flag here. Corn, wondering the same. Soy, wondering the same. These don't necessarily need to go up, but if they're going to, this is a good opportunity for it. On ZL, I'm still leaning towards seeing the next big target being a retest of this high here. On live cattle, we've the double bottom hasn't delivered target yet and might not. Bigger picture, it's worth noting we've got a head and shoulder that's broken down with a target in the 204.45 area. And HE, we've got a 60-minute buy signal that's reached possible near miss target. I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of this low here in about the 79.5 area. All right, let's have a look at questions, of which we have none. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.